This project is about, traditions. It's about belief systems, and it's about things that are all throughout art. The art form that we have around us is what makes art what it is, and how it's alive in our day-to-day life. So we talk about, for this project, it's about Khon. So, Khon dance, the performance that embodies a lot of when we are abroad, we think about of what performance to show people that embody Thai culture. We think of Khon first and foremost. But it's an art form that is steeped in tradition, hundreds of years old, and has taken many forms over the years. And it's quite difficult to understand in some ways. So this is a project about Khon, but it's not Khon exactly. It's about what makes Khon what it is. It's about the interpretation of Khon and how to keep Khon alive. It's a project that's a collaboration and interweaving of old and new, of contemporary and traditional, as something that in fact it can be one element that is always moving. In working with Fine Arts Department and Jiti Shompi of 18 Monkeys, what we're doing is that we're coming together, coming from different sides of tradition and contemporary, and we talk together and we provide a platform in which we exchange. And what we learn from it is we learn, and not only about Khon, but about the things that tie the tradition together, about traditions that we grow up with when we dance in Khon or when we watch Khon, how we see Hua Khon, how we see the performance, how we see the Ramakian, what are traditions and beliefs that people who Lam Khon, Pa Khon, people who all the teachers, what are things that they learn and know, and how is this exchanged through conversation? And at the end, what we create is an outcome that's an interweaving, an interwoven story that's in the present, a story inspired by the past, but that's in the present and is continuing to move. And so this is what the project's about, a bit of an experimentation to create something that's a historical story, that's a contemporary story actually, but inspired by the historical, that has life. The highlight in this exhibition, in this project, in this Khon project, what we did is when we're working with Jiti, all the things that he learned and exchanged, we ended up learning these little stories in this day-to-day life, and we created 5 episodes. 5 episodes based off of conversations with dancers and with choreographers and with Khonepa Khon. And then what we do is that we actually create 5 different episodes based off of different stories, ranging from stories of Shui Shai, Nang Khon, which are in the past, men would actually dance the female roles. We talk about Khonepa Khon. We talk about different elements throughout, little stories or the string that people bite down in their mask. We talk about different elements in every small episode under 10 minutes. And we're going to be having a screening of all in a video format of all these episodes for people to see the results of these conversations as a form and a way of archiving, of oral storytelling of people who have experience and people in the present, a contemporary, younger generation who are in conversation. So in a way, it's a form of archive. So we have these videos, episodes, and movies, and then we're going to have performances in March, which are basically an expanded version of the video, 5 performances during March. And it's going to be a beautiful story about Tosakan and the life of Tosakan as seen through Jiti, and interwoven stories that he learned from the Ajahn, from Kru Tang in Gomsin. And he interweaves it into a performance, into the storyline, which is a performance that isn't Khon, but it is a dance performance that is inspired by the historical Khon. And then we have what we'll do is at the end, once everyone sees the performance, we're going to be able to discuss it in a roundtable conversation at Nielsen Hayes, where you have a performance lecture by Jiti and his team, and then we'll actually have professors and academics from different fields, whether it's music, every part of Khon that you think of that makes Khon what it is. Whether it's going to be the dancers themselves, you have musicians, you have philosophies and traditions, and the spirituality and aesthetics behind Khon, and we discuss what could it be, what could this all mean, how are they interrelated. And all of it at the end is basically a method of distributing knowledge and of archiving knowledge, not just on an academic level, but on an interpersonal level, and stories that people have growing up passed on by teachers and by family members. And so it's actually a very personal and very interpretive project. This project is actually quite short term. So during the month of March, we have the performance. We have the screening for 2 days in March 11th and 12th. And then following that, we have a week, 5-day performances every day during that week. And then we'll have 1 day on the 27th of March of a performance lecture. So everything is taking place during the month of March. And after the screening, we will actually be releasing the video and the episodes that we created in collaboration with the Fine Arts Department online for people to have access to for 1 full month after the screening. I want people to change the way they view the historical. I want people to actually, that when you look at something, when you have an art form like Khon or any type of art form, you have these you have small stories that hold everything together, that act like a glue, belief systems and traditions that you learn from a young age that make it what it is. And when we kind of weaved it into the storyline of the performance, we don't want it to be so upfront that people don't have the freedom to move in their own interpretation, but we scattered it throughout the performance, things that we learned from the teachers. So it changes your perspective of how the teachers of Khon, that in fact it has these things that we have in our day-to-day life, like Hua Khon, or the belief of the Kwam Saksit, the sacredness of the Hua Khon, or things that we actually know in our day-to-day life that are taught to us by our family, but we don't look at, we don't pay notice to because they're small things. We call in our project Glit, right? These are small things that tie things together, that hold this art form together. We put it in there and we hide it, we interweave it, not make it obvious, and we hope when people come and see it, they're small, but it strikes people's curiosity, and we don't give them too much, but we hope by giving them in that format, it changes the way they think about the art form. That the art form itself has many facets, it's multidimensional, and you can choose this side, and then you're gonna go back and find more information. Or you can twist it around, and in fact, there's so many elements and stories, and I wanna know more. This is what I hope when people see it, that they'll think about, that in fact, this kind of art form is created out of these traditions and beliefs, and is held together by so many elements. And I want to hope that people go in and it makes them want to talk, and it makes them want to exchange, and it makes them want to dance or want to read or want to sing or go back to elements of the traditional that influence them now.